Welcome back to Torn Apart. So we're here back again doing something weird, something unusual, something that probably you don't see coming unless you've been here for a really long time, then you know what I'm talking about.
I am so fucking ready.
No! God, please, no! No!
Today we're ranking shitty things. So very precise, very niche things that absolutely no one cares about. We're gonna rank them today in a really fun and chill video. Today we're ranking childhood crushes and specifically cartoon childhood crushes. And I know that we have to be a little bit careful when it comes to this, mostly because I'm taking this from the perspective of me as a teenager. So of course there's gonna be a lot of weird things that you're gonna be seeing in this list here. So let's try not to be weird about it. You know, when it comes to sexual preferences, when it comes to romantic preferences, when it comes to just finding people attractive for one way or another. As you can see, there are some animals as well in this. This might actually be controversial. We'll see. Let me know down in the comments what your crushes are, especially if you're ashamed of them. Even better if you're ashamed of them, if you don't want to admit it to yourself and to others. Just let me know down in the comments and let's put our shame to the light of day.
You just saved me. I'm free.
The categories for today are Smash, of course. This is gonna be consensual and this is gonna be adults as well. I will not put into this category any weird underage cartoon characters, even if they're fictional. I think it's weird. I think it's really weird and we're not gonna be doing that, okay? If you wanna do it in your own spare time, if you wanna write it down, you do you. The next category is gonna be Scooby Snack. It's gonna be the good category of people who are snacks, but we don't necessarily wanna smash them, you know? Then we've got adorable but off limits. See, you weirdos and perverts out there, this is the category I was talking about before. If there are some underage cartoons here, they're gonna be heading into this category, okay? Which is gonna be our mediocre category, let's call it like that, even though I like most of the characters that you see down here. The next category is gonna be are the animators okay? This is gonna be for the weird cartoon characters who are sexy for no reasons whatsoever and you don't really know what to do about them.
Why?
You don't really know whether they're supposed to turn you on or whether it's just sexist, whether it's, I don't know, it's just a complicated mess. And then we've got oh god please no, which is gonna be an absolute no touching, no looking category where we sit there and we're like, there is no reason for this person to be like this, right? There is no reason. We don't want to see it, we don't want to touch it, we don't want to even talk about it. We just want to repress that memory as much as possible.
I don't know, it feels kind of weird.
But anyways, this is it. So we're gonna be starting with Jessie from Toy Story 2. I really like the character of Jessie, and of course Toy Story 2 came out, what is it, around 2002 maybe, something like that. So of course I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. So of course I related to Andy personally. So when it comes to these kind of characters, there was no romantic or sexual tension at all. I want to specify that, of course. But I think she's really cool. I think this was the very first cowgirl that I saw in an animated form that was not like sexualized. She was just really happy to be a cowgirl. I think she's really a fun character at the end of the day. So let's put her into adorable but off limits. Adorable but off limits mostly because I think she's still supposed to be kind of a teenager if you look at the way that she's built, you know? While Woody and Buzz, they seem to be more adults, I feel like Jessie always behaves like a bit of a teenager, so I have to put that there. I don't really have a choice. Next we have an animal, and actually this animal here could go well with another animal that comes right after because they're from the same movie. I'm of course talking about Balto.
Balto's back!
Balto is a really cool character. It belongs to the kind of category where like, I didn't know that dogs could be this attractive, this cool, this badass. This is the kind of dog slash person that is kind of like a bad boy in high school and like you're intrigued by him. He maybe doesn't really take care that much about his personal hygiene or even the way that people perceive him, but he's so cool exactly because of that. Because he's so nonchalant. He doesn't care about what other people think. So I'm gonna put him into to, let's say, adorable but off limits just because it's still a dog. Definitely above Jessie without a doubt. I don't think this is a weird thing. I think they could have pushed it way further. And next we've got the first version ever, if I'm not mistaken, of Harley Quinn from the Batman animated series cartoon. Here we're heading into a bit of a different territory, you know? I actually have to Google it. I have no idea how old Harley Quinn is supposed to be, especially that version of Harley Quinn, because we never know exactly what she's doing, how she's behaving and stuff like that. So Harley Quinn apparently is in between her early 20s and early 30s, depending on which comic you read, of course. And it is specified also that Harley Quinn was with the Joker for 7 years minimum and 14 years maximum within the DC Comics canon. And today apparently she's supposed to be 32 years old, to answer your question, which kind of relates pretty well to Margot Robbie's version, if I'm not mistaken. She's weird. She's that kind of woman that is kind of like a bit of an insane, and you like her because of it. She's a bit crazy, you know? I'm gonna put it into Scooby Snack because I just really like this version of the character as well. It became iconic, of course, and if she's separated from the Joker, I think she's a really cool and at the end of the day, good looking character. Then we've got the Beast. Like, I was searching for the weirdest like lists of sexy characters, specifically when it comes to bestiality, and there is a lot of people apparently who are into the Beast. I don't get it. First of all, Stockholm Syndrome. I really hate that entire movie. I have no idea how people can find the Beast attractive. I just don't get it. I'm just gonna put it into oh god please no, because honestly I have no idea how can people be into that.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
Maybe they're into the idea of there is a prince behind it and we have to heal him and turn him into the actual version of himself. There is that idea of like women trying to fix men. Maybe that's why a lot of people were into the Beast back then, but honestly, no, I don't get it. And then here we got Shell from The Road to El Dorado. This is kind of a bit of a controversy because this was definitely one of the very first like overtly sexualized characters that I definitely liked because of those reasons when I was a teenager, but she belongs to that category of over-sexualizing indigenous characters, and specifically characters that are not white and they don't have a personality besides the fact that they're really sexual beings. And also, I'm pretty sure that she's supposed to be a teenager. It says here she appears to be about 20 years old, but I know it's not true. I know it's not true because they're basically like building on that idea of basically indigenous people kind of like giving their youngest and most beautiful women to outsiders as almost a gift.
So, I'm sorry. So sorry. But perhaps another time? Another place?
Too bad. I'm free now.
And very often, just because of life expectancy back then, those people were teenagers. So I'm gonna put her into, are the animators okay? Mostly because I think that there is way too many problematic things about Shell, and there is no way I can put her into the above category. Here we have Kronk.
Please continue.
Why me? Why me? Why?
It doesn't always have to be about you.
You will realize across my entire list here, when it comes to talking about men or any kind of male identifying character, it has mostly to do with the definition of masculinity that they're trying to portray within the cartoon itself. And Kronk is a big guy who is kind of a dummy, yeah, of course, but he's also so incredibly nice and he loves to cook. He just loves his friends and he loves to be of service. And that is something that I just never got exposed to as a child, and I think this was one of those first few characters. Without a doubt, Kronk could be my boyfriend. Smash. He's probably the standout in that entire like universe. Then we've got Daphne from the Scooby-Doo cartoons, of course. Daphne, I mean, it's kind of hard. Actually, I'm intrigued to know how old Daphne is supposed to be, so let's Google that as well. Daphne has always been, especially at the beginning, kind of a bit of a bimbo, you know? A lot of people talk about like Daphne and Fred as almost like the original versions of Barbie and Ken when it comes to like what kind of men and women they're representing. In the original series, apparently they're all supposed to be teenagers. I'm kind of shocked. I thought they were gonna be adults. I'm actually really shocked. What it says here that basically Fred and Shaggy are each 17, Daphne is 16, and Velma is 15. Then I don't know if it changed across the years and maybe they have just appeared as more adults than others. For me, as a child, I perceived them as adults. I didn't perceive them as teenagers. characters, but maybe they are, why not? So then maybe I would put it into adorable but off limits. Elastigirl. Listen, smash. Without a doubt.
Well, we could share, you know.
I work alone.
Well, I think you need to be more flexible.
Are you doing anything later?
I have a previous engagement.
Like, even back then, I was like, why am I so weirdly attracted to this mom character? You know, because when it came out, I think it was 2001, so I was 7 and 8 years old. A really weird time to be attracted to someone who is supposed to be in her 30s at the very, like, minimum, you know? I think maybe she's a little bit overtly sexualized when it comes to the way that she behaves, and also her costume, of course.
No. Wait. Wait.
But she has a really interesting personality, a really interesting character, and she gets her time to shine in the second Incredibles movie as well. So here we've got a character that maybe most people don't know. His name is Garrett. He's from a film called Quest for Camelot. And listen, when we're talking about models of masculinity, this is the very first time ever that I saw a blind character in an animated movie, and he is an action hero as well. He's mostly a nice person, he's only trying to help, and he's lived by himself in the forest with like this little tiny like bird. He's a bit of a loner, and also he has that perfect haircut, you know. I think I'm gonna put him into Scooby Snack, just because like maybe a lot of people don't know him, you know, so I can't really put him into Smash, but Scooby Snack without a doubt, because he's just adorable. You just wanna take a little snack of him. Okay, here, comes from that list that I was talking about before, because I was trying to look for more controversial picks. A lot of people are into Gaston. Listen, Gaston, when it comes to me, it kind of represents like the kind of toxic masculinity at its best form ever. Kind of like the super muscular guy who only cares about himself and he's dominating women and other people around him. Just fuck this guy. I really don't give a shit about Gaston, and I'm gonna put him like honestly in oh god please no category. Here we've got Jane.
Stay back. Don't come any closer. What are you doing? Get off!
Jane from Tarzan and Jane, of course, the original animated film. I'm not talking about the sequels or the series or whatever. Jane is kind of an interesting character because she's a bit of a naive person who has to learn quite a lot to kind of like try to do more when it comes to get out of that perspective that people had back then when it comes to women. But she becomes a bit of an action hero by the end of the movie, and I'm really proud of her. Without a doubt, she's definitely an adult if I'm not mistaken, so I'm gonna put her into Scooby Snack as well. Definitely above Harley Quinn, just because, I don't know, she's incredibly cute, and you know when like you're a teenager, you either go with completely cute or you go with completely subversive. There's no middle ground, you know? Just because like your taste is incredibly weird. Here is the character I was talking about before. This is Jenna, and it's basically Balto's partner in that movie, and she looks incredibly weirdly sexual. It's hard to explain. Just watch the movie, rewatch the movie, and realize how much like the way that she moves, it really feels like she's the one who's flirting with the camera, flirting with Balto as well, or with the other dogs. It doesn't really matter. I think she's way too hot as a dog, so I'm gonna put her into are the animators okay, because honestly it's so weird to make a dog so damn attractive. And then we've got this guy here, Jim from Treasure Planet.
That's it, you little squid.
He's got everything. He's got the weird haircut. He's got the kind of boyish look. Kind of a rebel. He looks like kind of a rebel. He's an action hero, of course. What is his age? I think he's supposed to be like 17 or something like that, right? Wow. He's supposed to be around 12 or 13? That is not at all what I thought when I watched the movie like back then when it came out, you know? Wow, that is so weird. Okay, I'm gonna put him into adorable but off limits as well, because I had no idea he was so young. I thought he was supposed to be 17. Doesn't he have an earring as well? well. I don't know. Kind of an Oliver Twist thing where he looks more grown up than he actually is. Next one is gonna be Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo, Cartoon Network superstar. Same thing when it comes to Gaston, right? He represents that kind of toxic masculinity, but at least Johnny Bravo is really funny.
Mama warned me about women like you. I was hoping she was right.
I'm gonna put him into Scooby Snack because I feel like he's definitely self-aware. He's self-aware when it comes to his kind of like macho-ness, you know? And the show clearly makes fun of that as well, while Gaston is 100% unredeemable. And then here we have Kida from Atlantis, The Lost Empire. This is another example of what I was talking about with Shell before. I'm 100% sure she's like 15 or something like that. Like an incredibly creepy age to end up falling in love with the other main character who's coming later on, don't worry about it. It says she's supposed to be between 8,500 and 8,800 years.
Dude, I took some MILF.
The hell's that?
MILF. Mom, I'd like to fuck.
But since they don't age, I think like we have to talk about animation style and drawing and also people's personality and behaviors, because 100% she kind of behaves like a teenager slash young adult, you know?
You do swim, do you not?
Oh, I swim pretty girl. Pretty good, pretty good. Good, swim good, pretty good. I swim pretty good.
So you can't really use it as an excuse and be like, oh no, she's 8,000 years old. When people stop aging, it's really hard to tell, and you have to look at the animation style, at the way she's portrayed. She's overtly sexualized as well. I think even though like I loved her as a teenager, I'm gonna put her into Are the Animators Okay? Because I think that there were better ways of doing her characters and to make her stand out even more. This is why in the live action format, I'm pretty sure that when they eventually do that, she's gonna be an even greater character, you know? There's just a weird one. So some Pokemons are weirdly adorable, but kind of like in a sexual way.
You disgust me. Go on.
Maybe I'm weird. If you look at Eevee, she's super cute. She's kind of like a cat slash dog version of a Pokemon. If you look at her evolved versions, you just sitting there being like, these creatures are too pretty to be true. So I decided to put Vaporeon there, and I'm gonna put her into All the Animators Okay once again, just because I feel like these Pokemons are just too weirdly attractive, you know?
I'm your basic average girl, and I'm here to save the world. You can't stop me 'cause I'm impossible.
We've got Kim Possible. Kim Possible, I don't have to look up her age because I know that she's a teenager. When it came out, of course, I was incredibly attracted by her, mostly because of the action-oriented stuff. It was kind of revolutionary to see women in those roles as well. She was a spy, and at the same time, she went to school and she had homework to do and stuff like that. I'm gonna put her into adorable but off limits. Also, the crop top. Like, we have to talk about the crop top stuff when it comes to as a teenager, and I don't know, just crop tops look so good on other people, even though there is nothing weird about them and nothing sexualized. It's just that as a teenager, you're like, oh my god, human skin that I usually don't see. That's so sexy, you know? The next one is gonna be a bit of a weird one as well. It's Kovu. Do you remember Kovu?
My father said there was a darkness in Scar that he couldn't escape.
Maybe there's a darkness in me, too.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
He is from The Lion King 2. I could have picked the tiny version, but I think the teen slash more adult version works better. Just look at him. I wanted to pick Scar as well. I wanted to pick Scar in this list here, but then I was like, he's kind of like Kovu as well, but Kovu is just a better version of Scar when it comes to the topic of today's conversation, of course. I think I'm gonna put him into Are the Animators Okay? Because Kovu is incredibly sexy. Just look at him. Just look at this image and that smirk, you know? He's got the rebel boy kind of look. I know. The next one, everyone agrees about this. Smash.
Mr. I'll make a man out of...
Oh yes, Daddy.
Smash without a doubt. And I'm of course talking about Li Shang from Mulan. There is something about his authoritative style, the way that he behaves, the way that he befriends Mulan at the end of the day. He's very masculine, and he kind of represents a lot of like traits of toxic masculinity, but I think that Mulan changes his perspective a little bit, and he improves quite a lot. And he shows a lot of vulnerability, which is something nice to see when it comes to, first of all, Asian characters characters in animated movies or series, it doesn't really matter, or just men in general. The next one is Leela from Futurama. You know, when I was talking about crop tops, another thing that teenagers have, and honestly I still have it today, it's those kind of like tank tops. Tank tops are like the least amount of material. Very often they don't even look good if you just look at them like without a person in them. But I think Leela from Futurama is exactly the reason why I started thinking that they looked so attractive and sexy. I really like her personality as well. I think she's quite interesting. Leela from Futurama. Age. Oh, she's supposed to be 48? I'm shocked. I never knew she was 48. I think we can put her into Scooby Snack. I think high tier Scooby Snack without a doubt. The next one, I mean, everyone has been talking about it. Do you remember the controversy of the second Space Jam movie? How everyone was, mostly the alt-right men, were complaining about the fact that Lola wasn't sexy anymore. This is how much of a big deal it is. People just loved Lola in the way that she was portrayed in the original Space Jam movie. Kind of like Jessica Rabbit as well, even though Jessica Rabbit is not really an action-oriented person. She's a bit of a bimbo the way that she's portrayed. That's why I decided not to put her in here, because I never actually liked her. She was too much of a performing for other guys, and because the animators designed her that way. While Lola, damn, I'm gonna put her into Scooby Snack. I'm not 100% sure like how we're supposed to deal with like animated characters who are also animals and their age, the way that they behave and stuff like that. It's really hard to tell. How old is Bugs Bunny? Who knows? But let's not be weird about it, right? Let's not be too weird about this one here. Okay, this one is gonna be weird as well for maybe some of you. I grew up with the Pokemon Sapphire/Ruby campaign when it comes to Pokemon. Of course, I watched everything, but like that was my main campaign, especially when it comes to the games and also the animated series. And I just love Maya's like character design. I don't really specifically remember her personality, but I just thought she was so incredibly cool, to the point that nowadays when I replay the games, I'm always playing as her instead of playing as Brandon, who is the boy version of Maya basically. I'm gonna put her into Adorable but Off Limits next to Jessie, maybe because it's the same kind of thing. I thought she was just really cool. And now we have Milo from Atlantis.
Sir, I really hoped it wouldn't come to this, but this is a letter of resignation. If you reject my proposal,
Milo from Atlantis, once again, if we talk about masculinity, I just love the way that he's portrayed. Like, this made me want to go into archaeology or paleontology just because I knew that there was a chance I could turn out to be like Milo. Even though like he seems to be a bit of a loser, like from everyone else's perspective, I feel like Milo today. I feel like I'm so focused on my passion and trying to show it to other people, but I don't care anymore on how I'm perceived. I'm in my Milo stage. I don't dress like a hipster like him or like a sexy librarian, but without a doubt is relationship material. I'm gonna put him into high tier Smash because honestly, great character and guy overall. You probably see it coming right now, like Misty.
There's a bug right on your... it was just a piece of grass.
Oh! A lot of people used to be in love with Misty, right? Probably because she was the only like female character at the very beginning of like the Pokemon franchise. Honestly, I really liked her haircut. I really liked her positive vibes. Of course, this was popular when I was like 5 years old and stuff like that. So there was no romantic entanglement. There was no sexual entanglement, of course. I'm just talking about her character. I just really liked her and I kind of miss her. I don't know, when I look at Pokemon nowadays, when I look at the games, when I look at the anime series or even the movies, I'm always asking like, where is Misty? People are like, oh, Brock is back for this movie, or oh, Ash is always there, it's so nice. But where is Misty? Where did she go? I'm gonna put her into Adorable but Off Limits, of course, because they're supposed to be the same age as Ash, if I'm not mistaken. So they're all very early teens. Then we've got Mulan. She's supposed to be 16 years old. That's what I thought as well, just because like they're talking about marriage and stuff like that. This was probably one of the very first like women women that I saw like dressed up as a warrior going to war as a soldier, and her training to become like more capable, and her becoming more capable than the other men as well. Honestly, I admired Mulan quite a lot. I just was really happy for her that she was finding her place and she was happy doing the stuff that she wanted to do basically. I'm gonna put her into adorable but off limits, maybe high tier adorable but off limits, just because she's a really cool character at the end of the day. And here we've got Roxanne from the Goofy and Max movie. There is something weird with Roxanne, right? Honestly, I'm gonna put it into, are the animators okay? Like the same level as Shell, where Roxanne is just, she's only perceived as like the sexual / romantic interest of Max for the entire movie, and they talk about her that way as well. There's nothing like weird going on when it comes to the narrative, but the way that she's presented, the way that like she kind of like flirts with the camera and like with Max as well, it's done on purpose, you know, like there is a lot of male gaze going on, and I just find it a bit uncomfortable, you know?
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Sailor Moon. I have to Google this. I have to Google this because Sailor Moon was 100% like a sexual awakening for me as a teenager or preteen, and I need to know how inappropriate that was for back then. Usagi is supposed to be 14 years old, and she stops aging at 22 and spends the rest of eternity as a hot 22-year-old. Who writes these articles? This is the kind of like weird bullshit that I was talking about before. But yes, for the time, it was appropriate, but when it comes to anime, very sexualized. And honestly, this is probably high tier. All the animators okay, because that skirt is so short, those legs are so long, that hair is so long, and she's so incredibly tiny but also very powerful. Just the design is screaming like sexy girl male gaze, you know? So I'm gonna put her at the same level as Kira from Atlantis, of course. Samurai Jack. Do you remember Samurai Jack? Once again, really cool portrayal of masculinity. He becomes even more brutal and like almost like he's got like a daddy energy towards like the end of the series, like the new versions. Smash. Without a doubt, smash. We've got Spirit. So listen, look at the hair, the way it flows, how the movie is shot. Spirit is weirdly attractive, right? It's not just me, just the way that he rides around and this talk about freedom, being yourself. I think I'm gonna put him into all the animators okay, and I'm gonna put him into high tier animal edition. Here I put something just for the lulz.
My name's not Ray!
Of course, I was not attracted to SpongeBob looking like this back then. In fact, I barely remember this version of SpongeBob. It's mostly because SpongeBob is a sponge. It's so weird to see him this way. Oh God, please, no. I don't want to see it anymore. I want SpongeBob to remain like an innocent, sponge-looking person. This is just weird. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have nightmares about him. Tarzan, smash, without a doubt. Do I need to Google it? Okay, fine. I'm gonna Google it for your conscience so that you can go back home and think about Tarzan a little bit more. He's 1 year old when his parents died and 21 years of age when he met 19-year-old Jane Porter. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. The way that he behaves when it comes to his masculinity as well, it's really clear that he's a young adult, basically.
Leave me alone! No! No! Do something, Clover! Make her stop acting like a kid! What do I look like? Her mother? Well, in that outfit.
I put like the 3 Totally Spies here. I don't know if it's just the suits. I love the Totally Spies cartoon, of course, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly the suits, right? This reminds me also of Charlie's Angels. So of course, the one that I was really weirdly in love with as a teenager was the blonde one. I don't remember their names, like, forgive me. What's their age? I have no idea. Okay, they're supposed to be 16-year-olds. It's something interesting to do when it comes to just animated films and series in general, to think about how old the characters are in comparison to the things that they're doing, the action sequences and the situations they find themselves in. Very often that those do not match their age. They're doing crazy shit. Adorable, but Off Limits, let's put it right next to Kim Possible. It's the same kind of vibe. Talking about The Incredibles, this is the same kind of thing that I was talking about before when it comes to, I feel like Violet within The Incredibles, I actually knew girls like that as a teenager back in school. Shy girls who didn't really want to be seen. Also the way that she's drawn as well. I'm gonna put her at the same level in like Adorable but Off Limits when it comes to Jessie and those kind of characters as well. It was literally just like seeing her and being like, oh wow, they wrote that character so well that she actually looks like people that I know. So that's why I really liked her character. Again, really close to the end, and here we have a character from The Fox and the Hound called Vixie. Are the animators okay? Are the animators okay? I'm really asking myself, what is that side-eye look? There's nothing else to add, to be honest. She's not like a really important character and weird, right? Kind of like Robin Hood. I think the Robin Hood animated version is the same thing where he's kind of too sexy for his own good, you know?
Don't just walk up to a girl, hand her a bouquet and say, hey, remember me? We were kids together. Will you marry me?
Oh, yes, Daddy.
We've got the Winx as well. I don't want to say that much about it because at the end of the day, it's very clear. I think they're too sexualized. I think I'm going to put them into Are the Animators okay? They're 100% high schoolers and most of them have all the same like body shape and stuff like that. So it's kind of like shaming a lot of people. They all have like incredibly long hair. They're also incredibly beautiful. Actually, I used to watch quite a lot of the Winx Club animated series when I was like a teenager, and of course I didn't say that to anyone because it's a very girly show, but of course I liked all of them for very different reasons, for personality and stuff like that. But the way that they were designed, kind of questionable, right? And the last one, oh, this character is just too cool.
You play only for power, Kaiba, and that is why you lost. But if you put your heart in the game, there is nothing you can't do.
Apparently Yugi is supposed to be in like 16, 17 or 18, it's not really clear, but high school age in Japan. So incredibly cool. I think I'm gonna put him into very high tier Scooby Snack. Just look at his hair, look at the way that he's dressed. He's just almost like a male icon, especially when it comes to anime, you know? Like I wished I looked like that. Like as a teenager, and honestly even right now, if I looked like that, I would feel really cool. But that is basically it. This is my list of my childhood crushes. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it, what you would make yourself with this kind of characters as a list, or as I said before, tell me about all your shameful thoughts. If you like this video, there is probably a lot more like this on my channel. I'm gonna be putting them down here as usual so you can have a look at them, and here at the top I'm gonna be showing you approximately the concept of my next video, which is coming out in 2 weeks. Having said that, don't forget to smash that like button, because every single time that you do that, one of the weird animators who overtly sexualize high school women gets punched in the balls.
Can I count on you?
So smash that like button to punch weird sexist perverts in the balls. I'm Patrick, and this is Torn Apart.
Once upon a time, in the magical land of Ponyland.
Nobody lives forever! Oof!
I frolicked 3 times today.
Da